Greetings and salutations. It is I, Professor Macabro, who is an old man whose brain is swimming in booze, that I made a mistake that my dear co-host here called me out on. It turns out March has 31 days instead of the 30 I thought it had, so Kindergarten Ninja was not the last movie that I could showcase in Martial Arts March. But, so I had to scramble to find something equally as bizarre as Kindergarten Ninja. And I found a winner last minute. Here we go. The Clones of Bruce Lee. Dun dun dun. Yes, random movie that I can talk about here. And it fits the bill to close the month with some batshit insane madness. Has a couple of horror elements. Has a mad scientist. Quite a few, actually. It has crime with people stealing gold, me mateys. And, of course, murder of people. So, it's a weird enough movie to close the month as I originally intended. Now, Bruce Lee, in my humble opinion, is probably the greatest martial artist of all time. Unfortunately, his career was cut very short, and he wasn't able to make as many movies as he probably would have gotten if he would have been alive. And my second favorite martial artist, Jackie Chan, was still a few ways and a few years away from hitting his mark and hitting it big. Who, thankfully, Jackie Chan is still with us, pumping out movies even at his old age, and after Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan is my favorite martial artist. He does amazing stunts. He's broken every bone in his freaking body, and he's still going strong. He's like the Energizer Bunny. He keeps going and going and going. But again, like I said, before Jackie Chan came into a scene, and after Bruce Lee's death, the cinema was needing a new person, and we got a whole bunch of Bruce-sploitation movies. Movies with people that don't look like Bruce Lee, but they're sold as Bruce Lee, or they're named Bruce Lee with not L-E-E, but L-I, or Dragon Lee, or different variations of the sort. So you had a whole bunch of people being pushed as the next Bruce Lee, but not really hitting their mark. And this one is the magnus opus, in my opinion, of that genre. For you see, after the death of Bruce Lee in this movie, which the actual kind of not in good taste, they show actual footage of Bruce Lee's funeral. But right after Bruce Lee died, a British guy, kind of looks a lot like Loki, but blonde and a really bad comb-over, tasks a scientist to clone Bruce Lee. And clone him he does, with less than effective results, because the clones don't really look like Bruce Lee. One guy kind of looks, if you really squint, or your TV is fucked up, you might be able to get some sort of resemblance from Bruce Lee. This is Bruce Lee Uno. Then you have Bruce Lee 2, who physically looks like Bruce Lee if you chop off his head or look at him from the back. Bruce Lee 2, not quite. And then you have the one that looks nothing like Bruce Lee 3, and he's like, I guess it was like the last little bit of Bruce Lee DNA that they had, and you're like, well, it won't come out perfect, but what the fuck, let's do it. So this scientist creates 3 Bruce Lees, and names them 1, 2, and 3, but he brainwashes them to only obey the scientist. So, the British guy that looks like Loki is like, oh, goody, 3 Bruce Lees. But these are just DNA clones. They don't have his memory, because they don't consider themselves Bruce Lees, and they don't have his Bruce Lee's original fighting skill. They don't even look like Bruce Lee, so I don't know, the clone thing kind of wasn't perfected yet. We didn't have dinosaurs until later. This was the first attempt at cloning, and I guess some kinks still needed to be worked out. So this British guy sends Bruce Lee 1 to track down this director and mafioso guy that stole gold, and he's there to investigate. And this is the Bruce Lee one that kind of looks like him if you squint your eyes. Kind of looks like Bruce Lee, but he never takes off his shirt, so I'm guessing he's kind of not the fit version of Bruce Lee. So he goes around and he does his thing, and he kills the people and retrieves the gold. Mission success. Then we jump to Bruce Lee 2 and 3. I guess these are the less than perfect clones, because it takes 2 Bruce Lees to do this mission. And British guy sends them over to intercept a mad scientist called Dr. Knives. And they meet up with a third agent that kind of also looks like Bruce Lee, but his name is Chuck, so don't focus on that. And the way that they disguise the Bruce Lees is that they have to use these glasses, so the top part of their head is covered, and then you can kind of think that they're Bruce Lee. And these people have no qualms about killing people. Bruce Lee 3 is in his hotel room, and he finds a naked chick, which would be a surprise for most people, but he knows that Dr. Knives sent her, so he's walking out, and as he does, the chick takes a knife, and he's gonna plunge it on him, but Bruce Lee 2 comes to the rescue, and karate chops the girl! And she falls dead, and I'm like, dude, what the hell? You just killed a lady. That's no bueno. No bueno, Mr. Bruce Lee clone. But, well, I guess she was an assassin, so, I mean, even Sonny Chiba killed an assassin that was sent after him, so, no violence, no bueno. Just knock them out. But, kill her they do, and they move on to fight Dr. Knives, who has 2 plans. One, to destroy the vegetation of Earth. I don't know how that would work if you destroy all the vegetation. I mean, we eat vegetables and fruits, but whatever. And his second plan is to create men made out of bronze. The more malleable of the metals. Not gold, not silver, not titanium. Bronze. Okay, I guess that's what his budget allowed him to do. Bronze. I guess he's the third place of scientist, and he went with bronze. So the Lees and Chuck have difficulty fighting them, but they are vegetarians, and they eat a poisonous grass that kills them. And I guess it's tasty poisonous grass, because when they get it in their mouth, yum 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 yum, they chew it, and they get it in their tum-tums until they are poisoned to death. So Bruce Lee number 2 kills Dr. Knives, and the British guy's like, good job, Dr. Scientist, good job. We thank you for your service to the crown and country in Her Majesty's name. And the scientist takes this offensive. Like, you fuckers! I did this wondrous thing. I cloned Bruce Lee. And all you're gonna do is give me a thanks? No reward? No recognition? Fuck you! I'm gonna send the Bruce Lee clones against you. And then he has a lap of judgment, because he's like, I have 3 clones that I can send to conquer the world. But I'm only going to keep 1 because, reasons. So, he has the Bruce Lees fight against each other. But one of the nurses that had kind of like this little thing for one of the Bruce Lee clones is able to stop the brainwash. And then they jump into action to stop the scientist. And that's when one of the Bruce Lees dies. Bruce Lee 3 dies through electric shock. Blah, 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 blah. Bruce Lee 1 has a couple of battles himself, and he fights Chun-Li! Yes, the big buff guy from Bloodsport. I think it's Bloodsport. I'll put a picture here and text if it is from Bloodsport. And I love seeing that guy there, and he's the big heavy in most of martial arts movies. And he has a tussle. While Bruce Lee 2 is like, electrical death rays that killed Bruce Lee 3, the inferior of the clones. I'm just gonna break a wall. Yeah, and he jumps in, and he has a fight with Dr. Knives. And then, out of nowhere, this other bodyguard comes out and fights Bruce Lee too. But he looked kind of fucked up. He looked kind of like a zombie, so I don't know what's up with that. But at the end of the day, Bruce Lee wins his battle against Chun-Li, and he disappears from the movie. Bruce Lee 2 fights the bodyguard and then he disappears from the movie, and the movie ends with the scientist running for his life and being captured by the nurse and the Loki-looking guy, and Ende. That's what it says. Doesn't say end, fin, Ende. I don't know where this movie was made, but that's what it says, and that's how the movie ends. The world now has 2 Bruce Lee clones running about, and I guess no one gives a fuck. But that was clones of Bruce Lee. Good martial arts? Yes, they do. They do have some good choreography. I will admit it's a little long. It does have a couple of places that drags, but it has a couple of scenes of boobs, if, you're into that. And the fighting is okay, even though, it juggles too much with the clone thing, and then the pirate gold thing, and then the Dr. Knives thing, and then finally the main sign things. So it's ambitious, I'll give it that. It tried to give you more bang for your buck. But yes, it's very, very weird. But I would still recommend it. If you're into martial arts and you've seen a lot of these Bruce-sploitation kind of movies, again, this is the Magnus Opus. You get 3 Bruce Lees and a Chuck for the price of 1. Where can you find this movie? Well, you can find it uncensored on Tubi. Tubi has the movies if you want to see that version, whereas you can find a censored version on YouTube that cuts away the movies and the death of the lady being chopped in the neck. So pick your poison. You have 2 options. I haven't been able to come across this on DVD, unfortunately, but it's out there in the ether so you can enjoy. Yes, delightful. Good thing that this is March 31st, the final day of Martial Arts March. This time for sure. So, let me know what you thought about this themed month in the comments down below. Also, I'm trying out some new lighting things, as you probably have noticed. Let me know if this works, if it's too dark, if I can move things around, or if this is just right. I would appreciate that comment as well. And get ready for April, because April is Action April, where we will showcase action movies and different variations of that theme. So stay tuned for that. Bye, thanks so much for hanging out with us through Valentine's Day February, Zombie Wasitos Valentine's Day Massacre, Martial Arts March, and stay tuned for Action April. But until then, we wish you all, like always, a good evening.